What's up, brothers and sisters? I'm back with another message, and today I'll be talking about the one piece of advice that changed my outlook on life and let me start to live my best life yet. So today I'm sharing some advice I received a few years back from Bashar. I stumbled upon this information back around 2012, 2013 when I first started on my spiritual awakening, and since then this information has absolutely transformed my life. It was the catalyst that allowed me to break through from working a 9 to 5 dead-end job and to actually start my own business. Back then, I got into printing. I knew I had talents. I knew I had capabilities that were beyond just washing cars, which was what I was doing at the airport at the time. But I didn't know how that was going to express itself. I just knew that I had a desire within me. And I had some background in terms of manifesting and how our thoughts and our desires are in us for a reason, and that is the catalyst that we can use to pull ourselves forward to create new realities. But I didn't understand the mechanism, and this is the one key that allowed me to not to focus on what's going on around me, but to actually focus on what was inside of me, and that turned into a seed, and that seed started to grow and flower, and everything that unfolded from there just blossomed. And now I'm living a life that I wouldn't even have thought I could imagine of back then. So if you are looking at situations all around us this day and age, and especially in this time of 2020, the summer of 2020 is when this video is being filmed, there's a lot of chaos in the world. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of uncertainty. People are freaking out. And we gotta know that we can't be ruled by the circumstances around us. If we are envisioning ourselves as inhabiting a world that's going to hell in the handbasket, then we inhabit a world that's not only going to hell in a handbasket, but we're right there in the handbasket with it. We can't be ruled by the circumstances. We got to be ruled by the knowing inside of us, the true anchor that is the vibration of our inner self. Our inner self knows who we are here to be, and this life and everything that we are coming across is actually a tool, a mechanism that we can use to introspect and to see more of who we are, to realize more of who we are, and to step into embodying more of who we are. The mantra that I'm going to be sharing with at the end of this video helped me move past all the circumstances. When I had a controlling narcissist boss, when I was living at home and things were just not looking possible, when I was looking at my past situations with school, when I was looking at my past social situations, my relationships had fallen apart, and I was looking at all that stuff. But none of that stuff mattered, because that is not who my true self was. And as soon as I stopped paying attention to the circumstances around me and anchored myself within an inner knowingness of who I truly was, that's when the situation really started to turn around. And that's the situation we find ourselves in today. We're finding ourselves in a situation where the world around us is like a hurricane. But we have to anchor ourselves in the eye of the storm, where the calm is peaceful. Our center point is our heart. And that heart is anchored, is connected like an umbilical cord to higher awareness, to a higher source. And that higher source not only knows better, but sees clearer and sees the whole picture. That is not only our trajectory in this life, not only our purpose for existing, but the whole unfolding of this entire play, this entire stage that we call physical reality, the universe, whatever you call it. This is the broader perspective. And when we allow that broader perspective to flow through from within us, because our inner being knows it, we just silence the doubt, We silence the chatter that's continually feeding us negative thoughts, negative belief systems, and negative opinions about what we perceive, and just anchor ourselves in the truth. Then that truth becomes more and more apparent, and it will blossom forth. All of a sudden, you'll find yourself in situations that unfold these scenarios, and you'll end up living your best life yet. You'll end up living no matter what. There's been absolute horrific times of devastation, like the Great Depression. There were people that made money during the Great Depression. There were people that made so much money and lived such comfortable lives during times of war. And yes, there were prisoners of war. There were absolute genocides. There was control like we wouldn't believe, all happening at the same time. Some people lived their best life, and some people lived their worst life and suffered and paid for it. So this is what I'm sharing with you today. The key is to just use this mantra, if you choose to use this mantra, to focus on what is truly inside of you, and rather than focusing on the turmoil, the confusion, the turbulence that is spiraling all around us like a hurricane. We have to find ourselves in the eye of the storm in order to move through this, and that is the key here. So the mantra is this: circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And you say that, and you choose the state of being that you prefer. And this is very interesting. This is very interesting because think about how this translates into the English language. Circumstances don't matter. They don't create materialization. They don't create a material experience. Your state of being compounds into how you perceive things, how you act through situations, how you react through the catalysts around you. And from there, you actually end up building a world that you want to create. When all this hubbub happened, when it started first with the news of a pandemic, when all that first began, I could have been caught up in the drama. I could have been caught up in people talking about it, gossiping about it, just discussing about their hardships and all the trouble that was going on in the supermarket and the news, and calling it the apocalypse, right? But I had a vision, and I allowed that vision to come through, and I looked and I said, you know what? These circumstances don't matter. My inner being knows better. And I'm not saying that poof, it just disappeared, but I am seeing that I'm taking actions. And I am so preoccupied with not only making these videos, but just expressing more of my creative self, because I do music. I do, of course, videos that are not like this. I do my main focus as a person is actually in graphics and design. And it started with architecture, but it went into like Photoshop and all that stuff, Illustrator. I'm an illustrator, I'm a musician, and not only are these videos taking up my time, but all of that stuff is there. I am creating like I wouldn't believe, but I didn't intend, I'm going to create. I have to create in order to create catalysts in this world. I didn't go into it with that expectation, but I went in with a vision. And from that, just that simple vision, all of this other stuff is coming forth. And I know that this is a trajectory on the road to a new day, a clear day with clear skies and a rainbow, figuratively speaking. So if you want to see the rainbow, utilize this mechanism, utilize this permission slip, and we can move forward. We will create the world that we deserve, that we know that we belong in, because we don't belong in a world of control and manipulation and fear and turmoil. We belong in a world of peace, creativity, joy, and communion with our fellow man. So in order to perceive that, we have to first allow it in here, and from there we radiate it out in our heart space. We connect with others like that, and we end up like the jewels of Indra's web, connecting with each other and creating a network that is unstoppable And before we know it, that's the world that we find ourselves in. So I hope this video was of inspiration to you. If you liked it, drop it a like, subscribe, leave a comment for others visiting, because all of us are part of a high vibe tribe here, and we're connecting. Even though we don't know each other in person, on a soul level, we're one. So we'll see you in the next video. Joel signing out. Have an amazing day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever in the world you are, whatever time you're watching this. We are timeless beings. We are eternal beings. We are spiritual beings having this experience for a reason. Allow it to serve its purpose for the reason it's here for. And once we use it up for its purpose, it won't have to be here. We can move on to the next step. So, Joel signing out. Agape. Salaam. Namaste. I'm going to drink some blueberries. See you in the next video. Drinking blueberries. What a concept.